Did you feel the Extraction film wasn't quite the film you wanted it to be? Do you feel there is something it could have done differently to have made a greater impression? Say, focus the story on a different character? Well, I think I found the character that Extraction should have focused on, and I'm about to let you know who. Let's dive in. So before I go any further, I'm just going to let you know, spoilers from this point. I don't know that I'm going to go into any major spoilers, but if you haven't seen Extraction, you want to go in fresh, watch it first, come back to this video afterwards. Look, despite it being this kind of all-out action romp, Extraction really doesn't do much to set the genre ablaze. And as good as Hemsworth is, he isn't enough to save the film when a potentially better story does exist. Of course, would the film have garnered the initial interest without Chris Hemsworth helming this film? I mean, the answer's no, but it's kind of a scary thought, isn't it? That in order for a film like this to draw any kind of interest, it needs a white lead in place when it could just tell a really good story. And look, people love to complain when a minoritized character takes the lead in a mainstream franchise, especially when that character was originally a white male character in another medium. And people state that the filmmakers should just worry about creating a good story rather than worrying about diversity and representation, or start a new story for a minoritized character. Well, Extraction did just that. It created a new story for a minoritized character which had all the potential of being a great story, but it was pushed to the background due to Chris Hemsworth's character Tyler Rake's mere presence. The film tells us two things about Hemsworth's character. A, that he's only taking the job of saving this kidnapped kid for the money, and B, he once had a son. But there's also this secondary character, Sarju, and we learn so much more about Sarju. We learn that he was once a special operative. We spend time with him and his family, and we see that he already has a business and personal connection to Ovi, the kid who is kidnapped. Sarju is the right-hand man to Ovi's crime boss father, who threatens Sarju's son should Sarju not return Ovi safely. So let's weigh that up. Rake is there to earn himself some dough, Sarju is there to save his son. And at the beginning of the film, we get this little insight into the relationship that Sarju and Ovi already have. I, for one, interpreted it initially as they were siblings. I thought Sarju was Ovi's older brother, but we learn very quickly that it is a business relationship, and Ovi is probably only a job for Sarju while Ovi's father is in prison. And then I kind of sat through the rest of the film wondering why Sarju wasn't the lead character. He already has an established relationship with Ovi, and I wanted to see how that relationship developed. Could they potentially develop a very brotherly relationship, considering that's how, for me, it was set up at the beginning of the film. With an already established relationship, the film would start at high stakes, high emotion, and as that relationship grows between Sarju and Ovi, the film would enter into higher stakes and higher emotion. And all you need to do is simply take out your white protagonist and trust that your minoritized characters can carry your story through. Let Extraction being generic in the way that it is focused more on the action than it is an emotive plot means for me it should have been set in Australia, where Hemsworth is from, or either the UK, US, or any European country really. I really love the fact that it is set in Bangladesh and India. It's a place in the world where Hollywood action films rarely go, which of course in turn means more representation for minoritized people. And I do really love that the white protagonist sees the face of his son in the face of a kid who doesn't look like his son. But you know, it kind of leaves me with the question of why can't Bangladesh and India just be Bangladesh and India? Why the hell do they need a white hero to make them accessible to a Western audience? Especially when you have a character such as Sarju in the film, who already has a personal connection to the kidnapped kid, as well as having the motivation of needing to save his family. The way in which minoritized people are represented gets called into question. Will they ever, in the eyes of Hollywood, get to tell their own stories in their own countries? Will they ever get to play the Hollywood archetypal hero as white actors do? Like, Sarju could have all the necessary skills he needs to save Ovi. He is the only character in the film who can go toe-to-toe with Rake. Sarju, however, just isn't written in that way. Once again, the minoritized character becomes the help. The ex-special operative going out to save his boss's son, developing a relationship with that kid, all the while trying to keep his family safe as his main motivation, is deeply moving and far more interesting. Now imagine if the story had been about that character. Minoritized characters, time and time again, will get pushed aside for the white hero. Therefore, we can only hope that these mainstream franchises continue hiring minoritized people, if stories like Extraction are the only alternative Hollywood have to offer. But hey, I'm going to throw it over to you. Have you seen Extraction? Did you like it? Do you agree with what I say in this video, or do you not? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll have a good discussion, so let's keep it clean. Until then, Hakuna Matata.